Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing about Looker Studio, where we will create a dashboard from scratch. I will be sharing you each and everything how you can build your first dashboard and all the setup and style that you need to do to make your visualization look better. To do that, first we can click on blank report. Either you can click here or you can go and click on the create and you can create a report, or else you can either go into Explorer and also you can create a new report. Right now we'll use blank report. Okay, the first thing after the creating a report we need to do is adding the data to the report. Which data we need to visualize? Okay, right now we are taking the help of Google Sheets to visualize the report. So I have a data source which I have added into Google Sheet, that is visualize. I'll be sharing that data source in the comment so that you can use the data source and you can also start visualizing the dashboard. I'll click on visualize, and here when you're visualizing that, it will show you how many, like suppose if there are like 5 sheets, it will show 5 sheets. Right now I only have one sheet, so I can click on it. We can only import one sheet into the report. Even though you have 5 sheets, you cannot add on all the sheets. If you again want another sheet to be added, you need to again click on the data source and you need to add it. Right now I'm clicking on by default it is added, and in the options you have first rows as headers and include hidden and filtered cells. These two are by default added, and if you want to only do the visualization for a specific range from A1 to maybe for example maybe up to A500. Okay, so you only want to work on this 500 rows, so you can include the specific range and you can give it. Right now I am adding the data source. Once you click on add button, it will show like you are about to add the data into this report. You don't need to click on anything, you can just click on add to report. Once you have added the report, the data widget which is on the right hand side, it will show, and it will show all the columns which are available in the data. And on the left hand side on the canvas you have free form layout and responsive layout. First we'll understand what is free form layout. This layout is a fixed size. Like suppose you're working on a desktop or a laptop, it will give you a specific size. It will not be responsive based on the type of device you're using, such as mobile or tab, right? It will not give you the flexibility of doing that. But in the responsive layout, if you click on responsive layout, you can do visualization based on the size of the mobile, and it will be flexible. Okay, so now we want to again show you the blank canvas. Okay, so again you want to add Google Sheet, click on visualize, in the sheet 1 use the options and click on add. And once you click on add, it will show us add to report, and then it will show freeform layout and responsive layout. Okay, this is the canvas, and here you can give your name as my first dashboard. Okay, so you renamed your canvas, and then you have all the columns here. The first one we need to do when we are adding any data source is we need to see the data types which are accurate or not. To do that, you can do it in two ways. One is you can click on the edit data source, the pencil bar, you can click there, and it will show this pop-up where you can increase the size of it, and you can see you have the connection, you have different other fields here, we'll discuss later. So here you have all the columns. The add format, which is a text. Okay, so if you just click on it, you have the different data types. One is the numeric data type where you can have the numbers only, but if you want a percentage, you can click on percentage, and if it is the time, you can use duration. Same with text. Date and time, you can also use date and time, or you can use year or year month, depending upon what is your requirement. For example, you have a timestamp and you only want to pull year, like you can click on just year. Okay, boolean is true or false, whether a particular column, suppose if the sale is more than 10,000, yes or no, so then we use boolean. And geo is where you can visually represent the maps. To do that, you need to have Google's map API key enabled in your Looker Studio. Then you can be using all the visualization by country, the maps, everything we can do. And currency, we can have different currencies here. By countries, you can keep INR, dollar, anything you want, in yuan, etc. And also you have URL, you can either embed the URL or you can add the image. So these are all the data types. Okay, so right now if you see, the add format text is a text data type, which is okay. Add unit is also text, clicks are numbers, and date is a date data type. Demand ID is a text, demand partner is a text, demand type is a text, and impressions are number, which is okay. Publisher country is map. Normally in our data source it is text. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just change the data type. To do that, you just need to click here and change the data type. That's all. Okay, next you have publisher ID, you have the publisher name. We also has to have revenue. Okay, here is the revenue. So revenue, we have number. Revenue is normally a currency, so we can click on currency and we can use a dollar symbol. Okay, so here revenue, we have number, and in the number we have dollar symbol, so that whenever we are visualizing it, it will show by a dollar symbol. Okay, this is about data types. And okay, so okay, 12 dimensions. Okay, so next what we will do, we will see what is a add field. Add field is a calculated field. So example, you have some columns, you want to create another formula. You can click on the add field. It will ask you whether you want a calculated field. You can click on calculated field. So here we have clicks and impressions and clicks. We are trying to figure out CTR. CTR is sum of clicks divided by sum of impressions. Okay, so that is the formula. We do not need to use equal to, because formula itself, in the formula bar you don't need to use equal to, like normally how we use in Excel. We don't need to use that. Okay, so click on OK, done. Okay, so you will be able to see the CTR also, but it will be shown as fx. Fx means function. Click on that and see the formula if you want to update or anything. Okay, so that's about it. And we have important thing called refresh fields. Suppose in the Google Sheet, if you add more columns, right, you need to click on refresh fields, so that it will tell you which new fields have been added. For example, if I click on refresh fields, no connection changes were found. But if there were any change in connection, it will say like, okay, new column named price has been added. That will show up. Okay. Then I'll click on OK. Before clicking on OK, I will see. Okay, I will see this CTR. What happened to CTR, which is showing us number, but normally it should be a percentage, right? So what I will do, I will use CTR as percentage. In the number, I'll show it as percentage, because CTR is click-through rate, which is a percentage. Then your data type has been changed. Okay. Again, I'll just go there. I'll click on CTR. So it is a percentage. Okay, so I click on OK. So right now all the fields which are required has been added. Okay, and now we wanted a free form layout. And the next step you can do is theme and layout. When you click on theme and layout, you have two fields. One is the theme and one is the layout. Theme is how you are visualizing it, and layout is how do you do changes in the background. Okay, so suppose you have different layouts here. I just want to add one layout. So I just clicked on this theme and I clicked on the layout. Here also you have free form or responsive. Okay, cool. So I have added the layout. And here I want to see what are the options that we have in the layout. One is the header visibility. Always show whenever we have any header, it will say whether you want to show the header or not. Okay, you have the hidden option also. We will see how it works. So to do that, what we will do, we will just try to add the header. So here we have a text box. Okay, so what we will do, we will try to add. Okay, we added one header, my first dashboard. Okay, and to increase the size, what we can do, you can click, you select it, and you can increase the size maybe 60, and you can give it in the center. Okay, and the font color, everything looks great. Okay, and next thing is overflow settings, which is should be visible or hidden. It's okay. Padding and all are okay. Now I'll click a background color. I will use this as my background color. Okay, And next I have a border color. I want to give a border color as black, and border radius is maybe 5, and border weight I'll give 4. And if you want to add border shadow, you can do that. And border is a dashed, you can do double, anything if you want, you can do that. Okay, so now this is my text box which I have edited, right? So you can also have text, you can change the text, or you can do anything, you can either be bold. Okay, so we have the first text box where it is showing your dashboard. Okay, next we have whenever in the theme, whenever you click on anything, it will show two things. One is the setup and the style. Okay, so here I want to have a new table. Okay, when you are in this setup, it will show us chart types. Here when you hover on it, you can see there is a table. Okay, you can click on the table. This is the table. Okay, and now we want to add information in it. Okay, so the first one is the chart style. Here if you click on chart style, it will show what is this. We can say publisher revenue performance, for example. Okay, so I just gave the heading, and I can even give it in the middle. Okay, and I can increase the size if you want. And then if I come here, right, it will show different options how to display. If you see display vertical and well as horizontal, if you see here, the style of the table changes. For most of the things we use display only, so we use display. And next we will use show header. Header is an Arial font color is this. If there is a wrap text, you can do that. If there is a bigger heading, and if you want to show field descriptions also, you can do that. Okay, and then table labels, color, everything is good. Header background. Okay, header background, I can use this color. Okay, or else we can use this color, which is similar to what we use in the dashboard. And I can keep the odd color as something like this. So what happens there, I can use black, not black, I can use very light color. Okay, so every odd color information that there in the website, it will be showing with a different color. And you have row numbers here on the left hand side, 1 2 3. So if you disable the row number, it will remove you from the visualization. And now what we'll do, we'll increase the size of the table. Okay, and here if you just see in this symbol, you can move the table. Okay, so now we have publisher ID and a revenue count. So we will see the setup here. Okay, so the dimension I want is publisher ID. I want I maybe want, so we'll keep it here to look good. Okay, so I want demand type. I want the publisher name. Okay, so I want the publisher name, demand type, and in the matrix I want revenue, I want CTR, I want clicks, I want impressions. You can click on the metric and you can add there. And I have the revenue, I have the demand type, I have the revenue, CTR, impressions. Okay, so and we also have several other options like blend data. This is useful when you want to add another data source and you want to join the data by any of the lookups. Similarly, how we use VLOOKUP and all. This and pivot table. Pivot table we will be discussing in the next tutorial. For here, we will be just creating the dashboard. So drill down, you can just click on it and it will ask like how you want to drill down. Okay, so you can do that. Either you want a drill down by publisher name or a demand type, you can do that. Okay, that is the drill down. Next, we want optional metrics. If you click on optional metrics, so there is a small field that been added here. If you click on that, it will show you all the metrics which are available. And if you want to only show revenue, clicks and impression, and you don't want to show CTR, then you can disable that. So only revenue, clicks and impression will be shown to the user. But when the user clicks, for example, in the user view, when the user will be able to see this optional metrics, and if you want to add, you can add the CTR. You can add up to multiple metrics here in the optional, so that if the user needs any other information which is not visually present on the dashboard, you can do that. Okay, so that is about the metrics, optional metrics. I can remove that. And you also have a metric sliders. So you see metric sliders, it will give you the filter option for the metrics. So if you want a revenue, only if you want to see by from maybe 1600 to $3,900. You can do that. If you want to see clicks more than $16,000 or anything, you can do that. Okay, you can drag and drop these filters, and I want to clear that, and I want to remove that from the matrix lattice as well. So if you want, you can do that. And you also have filters. You can create a filter. For example, if you want, you can include a certain field like publisher name, and you can give a condition equal to, and you can add any of the publisher name, so that this publisher name information only will be shown to the user. For example, if you're working with multiple publisher in a single dashboard and you want to create a new dashboard for a single publisher, you don't want to share the information of the other publisher, you can filter this publisher name and you can give access to the publisher, so that he can only see his data, not every data, right? That is what you can do. Okay, so that is about the filter. And date range, you have the date range. We can add date range here. Okay, and you have a date range filter as all available dates or custom. In custom also, you can have different fields, like you can keep a fixed date range. For example, the data range that we have is from January 1st to January 31st, right? I can apply this only that particular information of the data will be shown. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll add a control, date range control, and we will try to add it here. Okay, so here what happens when you see only, for example, I'll see it in the user, select date range. Oh, I have not added that. We'll see. Okay, so here I have to fixed, and I'll apply. In that, I have January 1st to January 31st, and I applied this. So only this particular date range is filled, and I can view it in the user also. He can only see January data. Okay, and you can also do manipulations or changes to this field. You can click on that. You can give a style, font color. You can see if you want to increase the size, you can do that. Okay, and here you have the padding. You can do padding. You can see if you're doing padding left 16, and if you're doing a padding 24. These are all you can play around with whatever sizes you need, and you can create your dashboard. And background, I want to have this background, and opacity, border color, I want to have a black, and border radius, I want to have 5, and border weight, I want to have 4, and solid, I want to have double. Okay, so this is my date field. You can either use date, or you can use fixed date, or you can give entire date range. It's up to you depending upon the requirement. Okay, so this is the data, and we have certain fields. So here when you click on this like this, you see that the numbers will automatically settles down. And one more thing, what we can do is you can click on it, copy, and you can do a paste. This particular whatever dashboard that you have built, right, you can see this. You can change it, you can decrease the size. Okay, and if you want here, you don't want to have this publisher like this, you can remove it, and we can create a text box similar to this. Okay, and we can, you see, you can decrease the size, maybe 40. Okay, so what happens here, we can write as publisher revenue by month, or whatever, revenue by demand type. Okay, so I have written it. I just want to decrease the size as well. I want to see the size. Okay, I want to decrease the size. And what I can do, I want to add these both, and whenever I try to, okay, and what I will try to do is, okay, so what we can do, you can do the amendments like that. You can do the settings however you want. Okay, so I'm just keeping this size here. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just click on that, I'll select both, and I'll right click, and I will say I want to group them. Okay, I want to click on this, right click and I group it. Okay, so when I want to, okay, when I want to like move, these have been grouped and I can move them. Okay, and here we have the publisher name on the left hand side. What we can do, we can come here to the dimensions and we can keep everything as in the middle, dimension 1 and dimension 2, and you can also keep for the matrix. Okay, and we have one more thing as like decimals. Okay, suppose we have CTR as a number, we want it at a percentage, right? We want to have the percentage symbol, we'll do that also. Okay, so here what happens, we have revenue as a dollar, but CTR we have it as 0.02. So what we will do, we will click on CTR and we want CTR by percentage. Okay, percentage, and click on done. Okay, so CTR will be shown as a percentage here. Yeah, the CTR is shown as percentage and we have the impressions. So here is the publisher revenue by demand type, and you see all these things have been added, and you can decrease the size, increase the size. It's up to you how you want to visualize that. Okay, so this is one. And next we have something called as add a control. In that we have drop down list where you can create, like suppose if I want to create a publisher name, right? So what I will do first, I'll click on it, I'll go to style, I'll change the checkbox color size. Okay, checkbox color. So this is my color, and I'll use the background this, and border weight 5, and double border color black. Okay, so this is my publisher name. So what I'll do, I'll just copy it and I will paste them. Okay, so I got 4 different names. So what I'll do, I'll just create them. Okay, I'll add them here. What I'll do, I'll reduce the size of the date filter. Just you can also decrease the size of this. Okay, okay, so we'll use this for the first publisher name, and then we'll click for the, instead of publisher name we can use add format. Okay, this will become the add format. And the next one, what I can want is a demand type. It can be the demand type. And the next one, it can be add unit ID. Okay, and then we can increase the size of this for the date range. Okay, so here we have the drop downs, and what happens there, if you want to only see app stream, a publisher, we can only see app stream, or if you want to check only display inventory, we can check the values, and if you want only demand type as an SSP, you can do that. So all these filterings can be done. Okay, this is how you will create your first visualization. Okay, next what you can do here, you can also add more charts, like maybe you can add bar chart. Okay, and you can add a pie chart here. Okay, and whatever fields that you need, right, you can add them, you can create, you can do the alignment. Okay, and we'll discuss about one more important thing, like in the theme and layout. Right now you see the page got entered here, right? So what you'll do, you'll go to the layout, you can see the canvas size, instead of 1900 you just increase the size. Okay, so you will be able to see more size where you can visualize. You can see the size of the canvas has been increased. Okay, so here what we will do, we have 2 visualizations, right? So what we'll do, we'll use a style and we'll use show title. You can do the changes, whichever name you want. You can publisher clicks. Okay, and you can do the this and revenue by demand type. Okay, and you can also use center as well as bold. So these are all clickable. If you just click here upstream, everything will be upstream. So if you want to do reset it, you can do the reset, similar to this as well. So this is how you can build the dashboards, tables, and whichever information you want, you can do that. In the next session, we will discuss about all these options, what is file, edit, and all, and also we'll be discussing about blend data. And in the add chart, we can discuss about pivot table, and we can also discuss